Hi everybody, Ave here. This is the Leona guide. I'm going to go through the skills, the abilities, the general tips and some gameplay things, but if you want to check out the item builds, masteries and runes in more depth, check out those guides on these links. These go into more depth and explain why you take certain things. Now the skill order, you want to be taking a point in Q at level 1, putting a point in E at level 2, then maxing out W and R. So you max R first, then W, then your Q, then your E. Leona is a passive, which is quite difficult, but if you can coordinate with your AD correctly, you can do a lot of damage in lane. So how do you do this? Well, charge your W and then you go in with your E, and then you attack with your Q, and then your W pops, and in between all of those your AD does damage, just like in this example now, which is in slow motion to explain. So charge my W, go in with E, there's a pop there, then the Q, W goes off, it's another pop, but then I Q and we secure the kill just so we don't have to tower dive. It takes a lot of practice to get the passive right, and a lot of coordination, but it's a lot of damage and it really does secure kills bot lane when you use it, so try it out, see what happens. Leona's Q is Shield of Daybreak, so it's a 1.25 second stun and it resets your auto attack, so try it on wards, stuff like that. You auto attack, Q, and then auto attack again. You want to be saving it for the AD carry when you're in lane. Their support comes to poke you, there's no harm in like using it on him and popping the passive just to hurt them a little bit. And in team fights you can use it to get kills or you can use it to protect your AD. It's up to you what you want to do. Leona's W is Eclipse. Now this increases your magic resistance and armor, really useful, it's why you max it first. Extra tankiness with a tanky support is perfect. Now E is like Leona's gap closer, it's really strong for engaging and escaping, and it's quite easy to hit as well, but the spell speed's average, so do bear that in mind. If you hit more than one person, remember it takes you to the last person, but they all get affected by your passive. Leona's ultimate, Solar Flare, it comes down and stuns everybody. You want to be trying to land it in the middle, so take care when you aim, bear in mind the cast time. In a team fight, if you can stun 3 or more, it's very good to use. Otherwise protect your AD with it or stun their carries with it. This is a ranked 5v5 game for anyone who's interested. This is Leona's laning phase. In early game, you want to keep presence in the lane. You're Leona, they're very scared of you, especially when you're level 3. Use that and abuse it. So here you see, you don't want to be taking free poke ever with Leona, so you sit back. Now I'm just running around, we get poked. Draven hits 2, he speeds himself up, we run in, their AD gets caught, stun him, auto attack stun. I think we managed to get first blood there, and we decide to push the lane. Now as I said, you always take a point in E, but because we're pushing I'm going to take a point in W, because I'll be level 3 by the time we push. So yeah, early game with Leona, keep a presence in the lane, be scary, abuse the vision of the bush, that's why you start with the pink ward, make plays, because she's amazing at doing that, and you kind of just want to avoid the poke and go in after the skill shots. So you just sit back, get a couple of levels, avoid the poke, and then when you get an opportunity to go in on the AD, do so. Keep presence, as you see I pink their bush there, so I have the presence in the lane. And remember to not avoid the passive pops because it's free damage. So Leona's super effective against Sona, Lux, Nami and Blitz, really good at killing them. And also effective versus Varus, Twitch, Sivir and Ashe. As a partner with your AD, you want to be playing something really aggressive. Ez, Draven, Tristana, Corki, things that can follow your gap closer up, okay? So our laning phase is pretty passive after we got that first kill. We let Draven CS, you just pick off XP at max range because again you don't want to get poked down by Lulu, and when you get an opportunity because they don't have vision in the brush you go in. So there we charge our double, that pops. It's a shame that the E passive was wasted, but then we Q, we still managed to pick up a kill there. And then again we have the opportunity to push the lane here, but because we can't tower dive we're not going to bother, just try and do as much as we can zoning Varus. I'm sitting back because there's not a ward down, I don't have any wards left, and I want to be able to escape if their jungler comes, so I just kind of sit back a little bit. Draven has his abilities to speed up and knock the enemy jungler away if they come. And remember, as a support you always want to back at the same time as your AD, so if he's not going back, don't go back. So we both decide to recall here, buy some items, get back to lane. So I get the side stone first, get back to lane as quick as possible, don't want to be missing XP. This is a tank, if you fall behind it's not good, so you need to be trying to get as much XP as you can all the time, okay? When you get back to lane, keep the wards down. Now back in the lane, Varus still hasn't had a chance to back, so if he does go back I can use my W to help push the lane, but I decide to flash here. managed to get the E passive off and the W passive pop on both people and secure a kill on Lulu. So although we didn't kill Varus, he's now got to go back, and Lulu doesn't even have the opportunity to get gold or XP from the creeps that go to the tower. So when you ward for Drake, good spots are in there, and also if you want to ward the bush over the dragon wall, remember you put your cursor on top of the sign. Check out the warding guide for that, guys. So you're popping your passive one at a time on the Drake to get the extra damage, secure Drake. Now Leona's mid game is interesting because you're very strong mid game. It's very similar to your early game, providing you don't engage at wrong times. I mean, a bad time to engage is when you don't know when their jungler is, you don't know where their mid is, you don't have summoners but they do, or you know that their AD has more damage than you. For example, Draven's very strong early. If you've got Ezreal, unless he's alone and his support isn't with him, you don't want to engage. So you want to make sure that you're engaging correctly. Now if it's the right time to engage, i.e. that their AD carries alone, or you think you can win a fight, go for it. But you shouldn't be losing your lane super hard, because if you are, then you're not engaging correctly. You need to be working on the decision making on engaging rather than the actual skills of landing Leona's skills. Mid game you have your ultimate, which in early team fights, especially around Drake, if you can stun 3 or more of them, is very strong. So you want to be trying to ping and promote your team, especially in solo queue when you have to kind of motivate people to do objectives a little bit more as support. To do these fights, when you have your ultimate up, you want to be trying to get people to do Drake, etc. So in the laning phase you see completely that we're winning. By winning this hard, we can zone. Here we catch Varus off guard, I ult him, I E in. Fortunately we can't get all the pops on the passive, but it doesn't matter because we have enough damage to kill him. Only because we were able to engage before Lulu was level 3, Lulu couldn't polymorph the AD carry to stop him doing the damage. If you can get their AD in the middle of lane and your AD has a good gap closer, generally speaking you'll get a kill, because Leona's passive is still going to be up when the AD comes out of a rank 1 polymorph, okay? Against other lanes, like I said, you want to be playing against Namis, Sonas, Blitzcranks, because when Blitz pulls you just go in with your E and you're naturally tanker because of your W. Here my AD carry decides to go, okay, I want to kill. Unfortunately I can't follow it up, but because he's so fed and he has Ignite, we managed to secure another kill there. Check for golems if you can steal them, or even if you're on the purple side and you can take golems, that's cool. But as I said, mid game, promote your team to do objectives, stuff like that, keep the wards down, and as long as you're not engaging badly, you shouldn't be having too much of a hard lane. The only lanes you'll struggle against are ones that have lots of sustain and pokes. For example, a good sustain support and a pokey AD, and if you eat that poke, you shouldn't be getting poked, but if you are, eventually they'll turn the lane because you don't have any form of sustain. So here you see I'm charging my W, preparing to go in, 1 pop on the passive. Unfortunately I have to stun to keep Maokai in range for Vi. A little bit bad because we don't have any of the skills to protect Draven, but I have my ult and exhaust to save him from Maokai, and V's able to pick up a kill on Varus. Unfortunately I didn't get the assist. I could have played a little bit better there with the skills. So that comes down to another point. Be a little bit patient with your skills. Think about the best ways to use them and how you can apply the passive to the most people yet put out the most effective CC for the situation. Obviously carries, if you can CC them, that's priority, okay? Now because this is a ranked 5v5 game, we took a lead early and I'm able to communicate with my AD on Skype and keep that lead. Now for your item builds, you kind of want to be starting with a rejuvenation bead, 2 greens, a pink, and 2 pots with obviously the gold masteries. Then you want to get your sightstone, possibly a Philo stone next, or you can get a Doran shield. Boots isn't very important, and your general item build is going to finish with things like Bulwark, if needed, Frozen Heart, Shurelya's, Sunfire Cape's not a bad option, Abyssal Scepter's not a bad option, but yeah, generally your sightstone, your Mercury Treads, your Egg, your Runic Bulwark, Locket of the Iron Solari as well is a general kind of guide, but remember, check out the item build guide for that. So when you get this fed, you can just go and take Baron very early, 15 minutes. This is probably, not the best example of games because I haven't seen what it's like to play as behind Leona, but as I say, when I play Leona, I seldom fall behind that much because I make sure that when I'm engaging, I've thought about it, because Leona's such a big engager. There's no way, once you've engaged, you've got to go for it. There's no way to get out unless you've got flash, and even then, it's, the gap that flashes is not that big compared to what you've just engaged on. So make sure you engage engage properly, and you shouldn't be falling behind on your lanes. Doesn't mean you'll win your lane. Sometimes you might have stalemates and it's up to the jungler to make a massive influence, or the mid lane ganks, but keep your wards down and play effectively. Time things, it's a massive thing I always tell you guys to do. Have presence in lane, don't get poked, keep vision in the bushes, try and be as pressurized on the enemy as you can. Think about your engages, again I can't express the importance of that. And just practice. I mean, she's not that hard to land skills with. Her passive has got tons and tons of damage. If you pick her up, you learn how to use it and utilize it with a duo friend who plays AD. I guarantee you'll win a lot more solo queue games in bot lane with your AD, because it's like 100 extra damage really early game. When you have 500, 600 HP in the early levels of playing an AD carry, that's not a lot of life after you've lost 100 from a very well played Leona and AD carry combination. But that's it, guys. Remember, check out the item build guides, the runes and the masteries to learn all about the tanky masteries and why you take them, and for the runes and why you take them. The item build goes into more depth on all the individual items and some adjustments around certain enemy comps, stuff like that. Please let me know what guide you want next. If you have any questions with this guide not being able to cover everything that Leona is, but more some of the decisions on why to engage, please ask. I read every post you guys put on YouTube, and I just reply to the ones that kind of need an answer. That's it. Stay tuned for more videos. It's absolutely awesome. I love making them. I'm not going anywhere. Tune into the streams if you want me to teach you some things and you want to play some games, stuff like that with everybody else. And if you haven't done so already, follow me on Facebook, and the Twitter link is below. Any questions, please ask, and take care. Good night. Good night? No. Well, actually, goodbye, because you could be watching this at any time.